Are the expectations for Desmond Ridder just too high? We'll talk about that and more with today's guest, Jarvis Davis, who's going to tell us how the healthy offensive line is going to be the key to victory in Week 15 against the Saints, and whether or not the Falcons' playoff hopes are going to get off life support with a win on Sunday.
You are Locked On Falcons, your daily Atlanta Falcons podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
So, guys, you know me. I'm Aaron Freeman, a.k.a. Mr. Drew, a.k.a. Sirius Blag, and a.k.a. your very humble host of this illustrious Locked On Falcons podcast, part of the Locked On Sports Atlanta podcast family, your team every day. And guys, of course, today we'll be joined, as usual, by Jarvis Davis to wrap up the week here on Locked On Falcons. He'll give us his key to victory, but we'll also talk about the big story of the last 2 weeks, which has been Desmond Ridder, and whether the hype is getting out of control and whether expectations are too high. We'll see if Jarvis can sort of set the record straight on that. And of course, playoffs. Yeah, we'll be talking about that a little bit later and sort of looking at the Falcons, realistic hopes to keep this playoff push alive with a win on Sunday. But with that all said, again, guys, I want to thank you for making Locked On Falcons your first listen. Of course, it's free and available Monday through Friday on a variety of podcast platforms, including Apple, Odyssey, Google, Spotify, and YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to Locked On Falcons on YouTube, and you will get the video version of the podcast the night before the audio drops. And make sure you check out Locked On Falcons on Roku and Amazon Fire TV as part of the Locked On Sports Atlanta app. All the Locked On Sports Atlanta shows are now free and available on your Roku and Amazon Fire TV. So with that being said, let's jump into that conversation with Jarvis Davis right now. All right, everyone, you are back with another illustrious guest here on Locked On Falcons. It has been a long time since we had Jarvis on the pod. And, normally we're doing our keys to victory, and Jarvis enlightened us in terms of what he thinks. We'll get to that later, but I want to talk about the subject that has been consuming, the Atlanta Falcons for the last several weeks, which is Desmond Ridder. We're all very excited about what he can do, and that leaves the question, I think, Jarvis, to a lot of people: are the expectations, too high? Is it? Are we putting too much pressure on Desmond Ridder going into his first NFL start? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't. Yeah, I could probably say agree with that that notion, but I think about where it comes from, right? Like, we watched 13 weeks of Marcus Mariota at quarterback. There were some good times and there were some bad times and there were some terrible times. I never forget that Thursday night Carolina game. He tried to do behind the back pass from his back. Like, we'll never forget. So I think that for those reasons, that's why those expectations got raised, right? So, and we knew at some point, whether people want to admit to it or not, we were going to get to this point in the season. And Desmond Ridder kind of admitted as such. And Arthur Smith even admitted as such, because he said, hey, we've been preparing him for about a good 4 weeks. So, this is probably as straightforward to the point that you can possibly get. And forthcoming as a head coach can get, in those particular situations when you're talking about changing that position. So I think that, but my expectations are pretty simple for him. I want to see what he looks like connecting on the deep ball. That's all I want to see. That's all I really care about, because from a confidence standpoint, I know it's there. He has that. He's shown that since he stepped on campus out there at Flowery Branch and rookie mini camps. I had got a chance to talk to him for a little while, and you can understand why the Falcons fell in love with him right during the draft process down in the Senior Bowl specifically. So I think a lot of people's expectations are high, and I'm not going to tell anybody to temper those, because for those reasons I just laid out, like, we saw some bad quarterback play throughout this season. You know what I mean? So I want to see some aspects that going to give me some hope. I just want to keep it on. I'm going to keep it funky today on the show, Aaron. I think that I want to see some real quarterback play. I want to see why the Falcons fell in love with this dude. not outside of his character, outside of who he is, and from a leadership standpoint. I see that. I've seen that already. I get that part of it. I just want to see from a football standpoint, what is it that made the Falcons draft him in the 3rd round?
Yeah. I think you're right there. Like, for me, like, I think the way I would explain it is, like, I think there's a difference between being excited about Desmond Ridder, but also like putting too much expectations. Like, my expectations for Desmond Ridder is that,
you can use that word.
but like, my expectations for Desmond Ridder is not that he's going to come out here and light the world on fire. It's just like, I kind of expect him just to be like a competent quarterback. That's like,
right.
Those are my expectations. And if that's
the simple stuff,
just like, can you go out there and execute the offense?
Can you open wide receiver?
Maybe, as you say, like, he hits one deep ball, all of a sudden we're dancing in the streets.
No doubt. Yeah, like, I shouldn't be twerking because an NFL quarterback hits a deep ball on 20+ yard throw. You know what I'm saying? Like, I should be dancing in the streets. We shouldn't be twerking behind that. I want to twerk because the dude out here winning football games. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to dance for a reason. I'm from Atlanta, man. We like to dance. You know what I'm saying? But I should be dancing for simple stuff, like the stuff that you're supposed to do as an NFL quarterback. So yeah, I mean, yeah, man, we won't ask for much. We won't ask for much. We just want competent quarterback play, like you said. I think that's the perfect way to put it.
Yeah, I mean,
he's competent and confident. I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting conversation, Jarvis, because we've been having this conversation about Marcus Mariota all season long. Like, our expectations for Mariota were not high. It was just like, don't turn the ball over. Like, that was the whole big thing for the first month of the season. Just, hey, can you stop turning the ball over? Maybe just like, we're not expecting you to throw the ball 30 times a game. We just like, can we just, you're throwing the ball 15, 20 times a game, and just make sure one of those is not a turnover. Make sure one of those is not a fumble.
That's what Matt Ryan did, and we ain't like that, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody want a mobile quarterback. You got your mobile quarterback. So, hey, do what you're supposed to do. That's all we ask. We no big expectations over this in this camp. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't feel like the expectations have changed for Desmond Ridder. It's just we're excited to see what he can do. I think we're excited. This is it's funny to me because again, I'm not going to get into the things that I get in the comments from time to time, but like I don't want Locked On Falcons to be. I don't want the show to be airing complaints about the comments for the millionth time, but
that's fair.
Like, I've gotten some pushback over the season, like, oh, this or that, or I don't know. It's just like I'm not expecting much. I just like or it's like, oh, well, you love Desmond Ridder, and it's like, no, I'm just like a normal football fan, like every football fan on the planet that just gets excited about a young player, whether it's a quarterback, whether it's a offensive lineman, whether it's a defensive
second round draft pick, that runs a 4.4 or 4.5 in the 40, linebacker, like we want to see, you want to see, you want to see the new shiny toy, right? That's basically what it boils down to. So, like, I don't know, like the excitement is real, but the expectations are just normal, at least I think on our end. But we'll see if he exceeds those expectations or whatever we're going to be talking about on that postcast here on Locked On Falcons, on Locked On Sports Atlanta YouTube, guys. And Locked On Sports Atlanta is also the home where you can see Jarvis every day alongside Tanisha Batiste on ATL Day Ones. You can check out Mark Zeno on A to Z. You can check out John Chuckery on Hitting Hard, all on the same podcast feed, covering the local teams as well as the national headlines. I know, Jarvis, before we got on air, you were like, oh, I can't wait to talk about this on tomorrow's episode. So check out ATL Day One, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. And of course, make sure you check out Locked On Sports Atlanta on YouTube on Sunday, where Jarvis and I are going live to give you our immediate reactions to Desmond Ridder's NFL debut this Sunday. Be there or be square, as they say. 4:05 p.m. Eastern time, whatever that time is that we go live. Make sure you subscribe to Locked On Sports Atlanta on YouTube. Hit that bell, give us a like, all that and more. But we'll continue today's episode talking about what are some of the keys to victory going into this Sunday's matchup with the New Orleans Saints, as we often have Jarvis on. And we'll get into that as we continue today's Locked On Falcons.
And guys, I want to tell you about our sponsor, Tommy John. Don't let your loved ones face the dead of winter in old t-shirts, ancient underwear, and ratty sweats. Help them fight the cold with Cozy by giving the gift of Tommy John. Shop Tommy John's Wrap It Up sale right now and give the gift of comfort to everyone on your list, including yourself, with new Tommy John underwear, loungewear, and pajamas. With over 18 million pairs sold, giving the gift of Tommy John has become a holiday tradition. 97% of women and men love getting the gift from Tommy John. Every gift is backed by Tommy John's best pair you'll ever wear, or its free guarantee. You can't beat that kind of customer satisfaction, guys, especially this time of year. So hurry to Tommy John's Wrap It Up sale and get 30% off everything, plus free shipping at TommyJohn.com/lockedon. Make sure you order now so that your gifts arrive before the holidays. That's 30% off plus free shipping at TommyJohn.com/lockedon. TommyJohn.com/lockedon. See site for details. So we're continuing today's Locked On Falcons, and Jarvis, we got to talk keys to victory. And I know our trend all year long is we're always focused on the trenches, and I'm curious to see if you're still focused on the trenches, or you got something else for us today. What for you is sort of the key to victory for the Falcons this weekend when they travel to New Orleans and hopefully beat those pesky Saints?
Tanisha and I got a chance to talk about it on ATL Day Ones, as far as just how the return of Elijah Wilkinson and how that could, how it's perfect timing, right? Start a new quarterback, and you're getting the left guard that gave us hope in the beginning of the season. And I think that, because that was a huge question coming to the season, right? Like, who's going to be the starting left guard? It can't be Jalen Mayfield. Period. Stop. The conversation ended there. Like, whoever it is, it can't be him. And I think that Elijah Wilkinson stepped into the role. He had a little issues with penalties here and there from time to time, but the dude was competent, right? Imagine that word is coming up a lot in this episode today. Competent. We don't ask for much. We don't ask for much. So yeah, Wilkinson was competent, and I think that if he can come in and do what he did to start the season off, he got off to a good start, was part of that offensive line that got off to a great start. Cordell Patterson was top 3 in the league in rushing from an individual standpoint before he went down with injury. So yeah, that's the type of thing that I want to see, be able to establish in the run game. The game plan is not going to change too much, I don't think, when it comes to Desmond Ridder being on the center. And I think that all I want to see is, like I said, I continue to reiterate this. I want to see what that connection looks like between he and Drake London, because, Drake has been chirping, not barking, chirping a little bit about, hey, I need to rock targets, off missed throws. Now, he didn't say that, come out and say that, but I'm saying it for him. I was open. And then the ball doggone got thrown to a 7-footer, and then I'm not 7 feet tall. I might be close. I might have a 7-foot wingspan, but I ain't 7 feet tall. So I think that that connection, because Desmond Ridder seems to get real giddy when he's asked about Drake London. So I think there's some chemistry there, and I think that if they'll be able to kind of lock in on that, and I think Arthur Smith is going to lock in on that as well, because you want to use the guy that pass catchers. Y'all value them a lot, so they need to use them.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was joking on yesterday's episode on the Crossover Thursday with Ross Jackson that, when Elijah Wilkinson was last in the lineup, the Falcons were in first place. It's all gone the poop since he left. I never thought I would ever say Elijah Wilkinson, this journeyman backup.
Was the catalyst
he was the key to victory. He's the one that holds the whole team together. So I
need hope, man. That's all we need, dog. We don't ask for much. If Coach Smith want to get mad at all the speculation and the hoopla and the narrative and the hype and all that stuff, man, look, man, we don't ask for much. We're Falcons fans, and and we try to be objective as we possibly can. But when it comes to this thing, when it comes to this game, man, we don't ask for much, man. We just need competent football play, and if Wilkinson gives us that, we're gonna give him his credit. Got dog it. Sorry,
Jarvis, you remind me of when I was a kid, and my mom take me and my brothers. We'd be going somewhere at the department store so she could, shop or whatever. So she would have to talk with us in the car. She's like, don't get in here and embarrass me. Okay.
Right.
So you better not act up. That's all we are, Falcon fans. It's just like, hey, man, just don't on Sunday, don't you embarrass us. Just give us an entertaining product. Don't
people are watching
embarrassing us. That's all
we had 28-3 and we wanted to stop right there. Like we won't need any more embarrassments. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's all we want, man. That's all we want. So we'll see if Elijah Wilkinson and that offensive line can provide it. I unfortunately called out Cam Jordan on yesterday's episode, so hopefully he won't hear it between now and Sunday. So I'm a little nervous. I got a little bit of buyer's remorse calling out Cam Jordan.
Wait, why would you do that, Aaron? Like, can we go on the couch for a second? Like, why would you do that?
I was drinking too many Mai Tais over here on McGarry Island. So I was feeling myself.
Like you do understand that that's Caleb McGarry is Cam Jordan's father. You do understand that, right? Like he still has possession of that property. Like that's his property.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so why would you call out the master? You know what I'm saying? For the worker. Like, you can't call out the master, because the worker is the one who have to face that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Cam Jordan has been very consistent, that, hey, that's my son. Like, he take care of his son every time they play against each other, twice a year. Like, he only shows up twice a year. Like, he's one of those daddies. Like, he pops in, hey, son, how you doing? You need some money. You need some. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to get these sacks in order for me to give you some money. And Caleb McGarry obliged every time. You know what I'm saying? So, you might want to hold off on that. Like,
but there comes a day when the son must grow into a man.
We got to snap into it. Like, he got to snap back at daddy.
Yeah. So I'm hoping this Sunday, or else I'll never live that one down. So Caleb, I need you to come through just one more time. Just one more time. That's all.
Just one more time. That's
just
it.
One more time.
That's all I need.
I just need you this weekend. So we'll talk about the Falcons' playoff chances, which are still on life support. We'll get into whether or not, this is going to continue to be a conversation or this will go away here with Jarvis Davis of ATL Day Ones as we wrap up today's Locked On Falcons. And guys, this time of year, this holiday season, find what you love at Total Wine & More. With so many great bottles to choose from, it's easy to find your new favorite single barrel bourbon or Chardonnay, or the perfect gifts for everyone on your list, with some help from a friendly guide, and all with the confidence of knowing that you found something special for the lowest price. You'll love what you find only at Total Wine & More. Curbside pickup and delivery available in most areas. Visit TotalWine.com to learn more. Drink responsibly. Be 21. So here with Jarvis Davis, and we're talking about the Falcons playoff picture, and I got to play the clip, so let's do it.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
There you go. So, Coach Morris says it perfectly. It's been a while. Falcons still playoff hopes are still on life support. Yeah. And, we've been talking these last couple of weeks about, must-win games, and every game seems like a must-win game. And this game truly is kind of a must-win game if the Falcons really have any chance of making the playoffs this year, just because when you look at how the divisional tiebreakers work, because the Falcons only have one divisional win with 2 games left, and Carolina and Tampa Bay both have 3 divisional wins. Basically, if the Falcons lose another divisional game like the Saints game would be, it will be virtually impossible for them to win any tiebreakers with either one of those 2 teams. And so therefore you would basically be writing out your hopes that if the Falcons lose this weekend and then they ran the table, their best case scenario would be 8-9 at that point, and you could only really get into the playoffs if Carolina and Tampa Bay both go 7-10, which means Tampa Bay would only have to win one more game or couldn't win more than one game, and Carolina could only win like 2 games at this point in time. So, this feels like, the must-win of all the must-win games. But basically what I'm getting to, Jarvis, is, after this weekend, the Falcons playoff hopes will basically truly be dead, or they'll still be on life support. And I guess my question for you, Jarvis, is, are you still got hope for this team making a playoff push, or are you tired of talking about it?
Sure. I mean, because here's the thing, because them being in the playoff conversation involves them trying to win, right? I want to see them win. And I think Jim Mora put it pretty simply. I'm just trying to win. Trying to get a win. Like, yeah, so, okay, we got to win in order to get in the playoffs. Yeah, let's focus in on the first part of that. Like, the latter, that'll take care of itself. If you go out and win and they mess around and win 4 straight and they don't get in, cool. If they mess around and win 4 straight and do get in, that's cool as well. But I just want to see them win. And because if they're winning, guess what? That means Desmond Ridder is doing something right. And we know that, Marcus Mariota, was part of those wins that the Falcons had. And that means he was doing something right, from time, when they, especially when they played against the San Francisco 49ers and he had arguably his best game of the season. And I think that, when you have a guy like Ridder being inserted into the situation, like, you know what you're going to be dealing with, right? But so there are going to be some things that he's going to see. The Saints are going to throw at him. And, Caleb McGarrett's daddy's going to be ready and willing to, son him throughout the game. So there are going to be some things that are going to have to happen in order for them to get the dub. So, and if they do, yeah, they'll stay in the playoff conversation. I don't mind talking about it. Hey, if that means they're winning, if the playoff conversation continues for the rest of the year, I'm totally fine with that.
Absolutely. I think that's a good way of putting it, Jarvis. I don't think I have anything else to add. It's just basically like, well, it'll either all be over we'll be talking about it, I guess, on the postcast, or they'll still be hanging on. And like, how's the Falcons doing? Well, they're still hanging on. They're doing their thing. They're still out there kicking. That sort of thing. So,
let me ask you this, Aaron. I know I'm about to get ready to wrap up. Let me ask you this: what if, I like playing this game, what if Desmond Ridder goes 18 for 20, 2 tugs, no picks, and runs 1 in? What do you think the narrative would be on the postcast, like in the comments? Like, give me some comments that you think you'll see in that doggone comment box.
Well,
we turn on those lights.
I can't speak for the listeners and the viewers and whatnot, but I know one of the comments I'll have is like, man, you telling me he could have done this the whole time?
Yes.
He could have done this.
That's what I'm looking for. Yes. Because that was the same thing I would think too. I was like, dude, like, and here's the thing, like, this is why I feel like the hype it has built up to it, the point where it is now, or the expectation. Let me use that word. That's a better word. The expectation that got to where they are, because it's just based off what we've seen from Arthur Smith game plan week in and week out. It's simple. Run the football, play action, have a couple of design runs, and hope you figure it out. Like, you know what I'm saying? And defense, hopefully y'all can get a couple stops. And they were able to do that in these past few weeks, right? Holding teams under 20 points. You're supposed to win games in the NFL. And I think that's how we got to this point. And the offense not being able to produce, because we've seen the opportunities missed on offense to get into the end zone, especially in the last time that the Falcons were out there. Because, hey, Marcus Mariota literally missed Drake London in the end zone with a chance to go up for the game and potentially put it away. So, yeah, man. So it's not like it's Kyle Shanahan's system. Like, oh my God, this dude be throwing out all type of checks, and you have to live in like different formations and all this stuff. And then Arthur Smith talking about, yeah, we throwing the whole playbook at him. What damn? Like, why he couldn't throw the whole playbook at him at week 7? Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm be really interested to see how this plays out, man. It's so many doggone storylines that I'm conjuring up in my head right now. And like I said, if Ridder balls out, man, woo, it's gonna be a lot of things. It's gonna be a lot of positive, but it's gonna be some negative Falcon fans. Like, damn, we could have got this earlier. Why we wait till the last month of the season to do this?
Yeah. I'm gonna be excited if that happens, but there is definitely gonna be a part of me being like, man, we could have had this weeks ago,
Straight up FOMO, man. Like, God dang, man, we missed out on 9 weeks of this. Like, this is what we want to see.
Yeah, you got to give the people what they want, right, Jarvis?
Why Drake London go off? You know what? Drake London gonna have a career game on Sunday. Okay. Damn it, I'm saying it right now.
All right,
and I don't mind being wrong on that.
Hey, man. Yeah, it's hate week. It's Saints game. We get up for this game, Yeah, so man. I'm all for it. I'm for all the smoke. I want it
all. I want all the smoke. Yeah.
Maybe we're coming back down, crashing the earth Sunday on that postcast. Maybe.
Hey man, it is what it is.
Until then, yeah,
I can handle it.
Let's hype it up. Yeah, I got you, Jarvis.
Let's do it.
I got your back, my friend. All right, so
yes.
that's guys. That's where we're gonna leave it on today's episode. I hope you have a great weekend. Get all the hype. Get excited. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, man.
We have
raise those expectations, man.
We haven't had too much to get excited about. These last couple of weeks, these last couple of months, hell, the last couple of years, right?
Yeah, man. So, we ain't had jack to get excited about. Come on,
live it up. So, have a great weekend, guys. We'll be back Sunday for that postcast on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Subscribe to it on YouTube. Check it out on your preferred podcast platform. Check out all the Locked On Sports Atlanta shows, A to Z with Mark Zeno, Hitting Hard, John Chuckery. Of course, check out ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and Tanitra Batiste. You also got Locked On Hawks. What's going on with that team? What was that all about the other night? You got the Braves.
Same doggone thing, man. Like, do you see what we got to deal with? Really, this is on you, dog. Like, you are the dude. Let me tell you something, man. Like, I can't tell this story on there, but Mike Vick had the world at his feet, literally, in this city. So, man, you have the opportunity to do a lot, man. If you just be competent, man. Like, I know you got the confidence, but just be competent when you play in this city, man. I'm telling you, things will go really well. And you're married, so you probably can't partake in some of the other stuff. But I'm probably talking too much. Let me be quiet. Hey, be confident, man. It'll benefit you a lot, bro.
Jarvis, my family's here.
My bad. Sorry. But just saying, man. Like, you do well in Atlanta, man. You can flourish.
I got you. I know what you mean. I
know what you mean. Off the court or the field. I'm telling you. I wish I would have experienced it. Dog it.
Check it out. Live vicariously through Jarvis and Desmond Ritter. Check out Locked On Bulldogs as well, Locked On Hawks, all that, Locked On Braves.
I'm over here sweating. I'm so doggone, man. Come on, man. Y'all got to do this, please. I'm over here begging, man. Golly, man. My bad, Ed. I'm sorry.
All right, guys. That's it. Check out all those shows as your second listen. Check out Locked On Sports Today as your second listen as well. Get the lowdown on all of the sports stories in 20, 25 minutes over at Locked On Sports Today. Subscribe to it on whatever podcast platform you're currently checking out, Locked On Falcons. And we'll be back on Sunday for that Locked On Falcons postcast on Locked On Sports Atlanta, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.